Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to One Hub Racing. This is the pre-season event. You'll create it, we'll make it. This is the second week. We're going to the final two tracks today of Austria and Canada. I am Jess, one of your commentators, and joining me, as per usual, is my good friend Austin.
Yeah, good evening, Jess. Good evening, viewers. I gotta say, two of my favorite tracks, and I'm pretty sure most viewers would agree with that. These are fan favorites, Austria, Canada tracks that most drivers enjoy, the viewers enjoy, and most of the commentators enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to predict there's going to be a close qualifying in Austria, as that's where qualifying is going to be today. And then Canada is where we're going to see the reverse grid, so that should be very exciting. But before we do that, we're still in the lobby right now, so it gives us perfect time to talk about the last week's races, which was around Belgium and Brazil, and what races that was. And the star of the show really was Beastas, basically been on the podium twice and won one race. And he's on 39 points at the moment, but not much of a gap between himself and Rich for getting quite consistent results as well. And the top sit pretty close as well, but Beastas is the man to beat, Austin.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, 5 points, considering our point system here, where basically you get 20 points for a win, 19 points for second place, and so on and so forth. If you finish in 20th, you get 1 point. So really just 1 point even for participating, if you will. It's really difficult to make up 5 points because that's 5 positions in 2 races. And it gets even trickier when you look at the gap from Beastas to 4th, 5th, and 6th, who are all tied on 30 points. This might get really, really interesting with Owen, Westy, and Ivahanen. The gap there, 9 points. So that means 9 positions is what one of them has to gain on Beastas. Considering Beastas' form in the first 2 races last weekend, last Friday, I think that's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, Beastas won in the first race, and Owen actually won in the second race, actually coming from 7th or 8th on the grid. And he had a beast of a start, really, and he was dreading the safety cars, I've got to say, due to his responses on Twitter, but it basically helped him in the end, and he ended up winning the race. But there's still some other guys that could be on the cusp of winning a race. Danestar, unfortunately, had a bad second race, but had a really good first race, so maybe we could see him up there. The gap is still quite close due to the fact how close the point system is. Maybe Danestar could throw an upset tonight and possibly get a victory. He's proven himself in the positions here last season, of course. I wonder if he can prove himself tonight.
Yeah, he's certainly one to watch out for, and I think the same goes for Vitinho as well. Both of them made it onto the podium in the very first race. Danestar finishing 2nd and Vitinho finishing 3rd, but obviously they both had retirements in the second race, and no one, I think, was hit harder than Vitinho, who retired on his home soil. And I'm pretty sure he wants to rectify that. And I mean, what better tracks really for it than Austria and Canada? 2 tracks where it is incredibly easy to overtake. Austria, you have 3 consecutive straights. That's the spot for our full qualifying and the first of our 25% races. And then Canada, obviously the long straight before the Wall of Champions. But not just there, into turn 1 you can try it. The straight is long enough. You can even try it on the DRS back straight between turns 8 and 9. So plenty of overtaking opportunity around both tracks, and certainly some chances for the drivers to move up the order.
Don't forget, prizes are still at stake here tonight. Whoever wins the event tonight, whoever gets the most points by the end of it, and I'm sure Austin will be doing the maths crunching because I'm not good at maths, they will win a £10 PSN gift card, but it will be converted to their home country if they're not from the UK. And they also get a nice little medal as well. No one in One Hub Racing yet has won a medal, so should be a lot of fun, as I am just about to get into qualifying, which is good news. And it's a sunny start to the qualifying, which is fantastic. There is 2 drivers I believe that are going to be missing qualifying. That is Westy and Everhannon, but they both said they'll be there for the race, which I think I do mean that Q1 is going to be absolutely meaningless for some of these guys unless they crash. If they crash, then that's over. If they don't crash, then they make it through into the second stage.
Well, looking at it, we have 15 drivers in it right now, which means Q1 is effectively meaningless for all of them. This is just a bit of practice, bit of a parade maybe for them, but there's nothing at stake here in Q1, and this is about the worst scenario we could have had. And this is also the reason why you don't see many leagues running full qualifying, because it's hard to get the attendance up to that point. Again, for every person who doesn't make it, and especially with us here at OneHub, we do get the attendance up, but we don't have reserves. Other leagues tend to have reserves, and you know, if some of the reserves can't make it, all of a sudden you're on 16, 17 drivers. Q1 gets rather pointless because all you do is hold a session for 1 or 2 drivers to get eliminated. For us, if we do ever have a situation where there's only 15 drivers because 5 can't make it, which can very well happen, again, you know, it would be a pointless session. So this is just for the drivers to get into a flow, get into a rhythm, you know, learn the track, learn the conditions, because every single time you go out on track, conditions are a little bit different and you have to adjust, because right now it is very sunny, it is very high temperature, and you need to, even on one lap around Austria, make sure that the tire temperatures are in check.
Yeah, indeed. We're currently riding on board with Liam13, actually one of our sponsors of OneHub Racing, and he's actually streaming live right now. So if you want to check him out, go on to twitch.tv/Liam13. He's providing the trophies for season 16 as he's going just past turn 4 right now. Another almost blind apex pretty much going towards turn 5 and 6. If you get that wrong, if you go into the gravel trap, then that's it. That's your pretty much your qualifying done, if it was Q1 of course. And he's just invalidated, so the curse continues as he's got purple in sector 2 because obviously he's the first man out on track. I'm going to see who else is out on the lap. There's someone in front of Lazy, and I'm trying to figure out who it was, as I think actually Hoffner is actually out on the lap. Now Hoffner is replacing Onyx for this tournament. Obviously Onyx can't make it, so Lee Hoffner is filling in, and he sets the first time on the board at 104.2. He was in podium tier last season. I'm guessing he's just there for a bit of fun, but he's still in a chance of getting into the top 10, despite the fact how the championship is so close, of course. And there's less pressure for him tonight. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and honestly, I've always enjoyed these situations when you just get into any sort of event, whether it's a league or just a 2-week event like this one, or even a 1-day, 1-night event. Just come in, you know, no pressure, nothing to be worried about, and just have some fun. It's always great, and especially for some pre-season preparation. What might not be so fun, though, for some of the drivers is the weather forecast. I've got word from the meteorologists, and this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to start off on dry, so the tires of Q2 for the top 10 will be the tires they start on. However, they might not be on those for very long, because it will change to light rain, and it's not done there. It will then go to heavy rain, and we might see another safety car come out due to the weather. Maybe I'm just cursing OneHub off-season events at this point by my mere existence in the commentary booth. Well, all of a sudden there's heavy rain.
Well, let's just say I've been cursed with rain in Austria quite a few times. The last race I actually raced in Austria, it was a wet to dry qualifying, and it was a wet to dry race. So to be honest, it's just both of our existence really. But to be honest, I'm glad I'm not racing. I'm in the commentary booth because I would have done absolutely terrible. But We'll talk about predicted pole time in a minute, but Danestar's already set the benchmark already in Q1, a 103.5. We could see people into the early 103s if we're lucky. Fingers crossed, there's a few people yet to set their lap time as well. Beastars, I think, has invalidated a few times as he goes out again. Let's actually go on board with our championship leader at the moment. Let's hope I don't get a curse on him this time as he goes through the Niki Lauda curve. Obviously paying tribute to Niki Lauda, of course. And now this corner is about to follow another DRS straight. Now he goes through a little kink. Now we call it turn 2. But it's not really turn 2 in my books, but that's what the game usually calls it, and MotoGP, so that's why we're calling it turn 2, and the DRS straight was turn 3, and now we're into turn 4, the second DRS straight, as you'll be braking, going into second gear just a little bit, nice and calm and controlled he goes as he goes to the right hand side of the track, going at 180 miles per hour, and now going into fifth gear here, going into the left-hander here, and he's purple sector 2 at the moment, so he's going really, really quick, going down the hill here into the Fanatic Bridge, as I like to call it, going through to the last 3 turns. This is common for invalidations through turn 9 and 10. Let's see what Beastas can set for his first lap time, and it is pole position pole position for Q1 at least, a 103.346, Austin.
Yeah, it was a really good lap. You can see him trying to use the track limits as much as possible while not overstepping them. It's important to always keep 2 wheels inside the white lines. Otherwise, you will get the invalidation, the infamous invalidation. And especially around here, there are so many corners where it's so easy to do. Turn 1. Even turn 4. On the exit, I've had it before. I was very surprised, but yes, if you run all 4 wheels onto the exit curb of turn 4, that's an invalidation. Exit of turn 5, exit of turn, or really the inside of turn 7, and of course the last 2 quarters, turns 8 and turns 8 and 9. It's really, really easy to just run a little bit too wide, and the rule is, and especially this year, the rule is, last year was a little bit iffy on F1 2019, but this year in F1 2020 they've made it very consistent, and 2 wheels inside the white lines, that is the rule, and everything beyond that will get you a red lap and an invalidation.
Yeah, it is on stricter course for this One Hub Racing 4 qualifying, of course. And Austria's one of those tracks where it is very, very strict. We could see a few more penalties, and tracks like obviously USA, where it's prone to get penalties as well, Russia, and lots of other tracks as well, particularly Australia as well. As I thought Jamie was going to get an invalidation there going into turn 1, but he didn't do that. He was very, very lucky to not get an invalidation there. But looking at those times now, we can already see who needs to actually work a little bit harder in the Q2 if they want to make it into, obviously, Q3. Obviously, we've got 1 driver in the 106s, and we've got 2 drivers not to set a time, but I think the benchmark could be the 104.2s potentially, or even a 104.3, because obviously the track evolves every session. You go into Q2 just a little bit, and Q3 a little bit more as well. So these guys just need to be a little bit mindful and stuff. This is perfect opportunity for them to see what they've gone wrong. And obviously when we get the TAS system starting from next week, the drivers will look to see what they've done in their qualifying laps and in their race laps, and see, right, where do I need to improve and where do I need to work on the most if I want to give every aspect of the car.
Yeah, I mean, well, Owen has retired, and I think that is in the pit lane.
Yeah, it is.
Yellow flag on the start finish straight. That was in the pit lane, so he will still be able to drive in Q2. Every time one of these retirements pops up, you always have to make sure that it happened in the pit lane and not on track, because if that is a crash, then that driver is out for Q2 and Q3.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that last week as well. I can't remember which driver it was, but I think there was one driver that just spinned it, and that was their qualifying done, really. So you got to be careful about that. So I think Owen done the right thing now. He doesn't want to get too ahead of himself. He just wants to stay focused and concentrate. Concentrate on the task in hand, because he's one of those drivers that that is good around here, and he could possibly get to Q3. So he doesn't want to bin it, and then that's his chance is gone, and he'll be starting near the back of the grid. So just let's hope these guys won't be doing the same. I won't be surprised if a few more people will be following suit, to be honest. As long as you actually get your foot in the car, then that's absolutely fine. As long as you don't damage yourself, that is fine too as well. And I'm still looking at these liveries, because I'm actually going to judge which is the best livery. They're just going to get pride at the end of the day, and I'm liking all these liveries at the moment. They seem to impress me. There's a limited choice of liveries on this game, but I don't know how. They just seem to find a lot of time and effort into making those liveries work at the moment. I wish I could find more time to do this.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I wish I had the time to sink into that. Some of these liveries look absolutely fantastic. I gotta say, Kingan's car, for one, with the Swedish colors, the blue and the yellow, looks fantastic. You can tell that there is a Viking driving this car, and it looks very, very sleek as a design, and with the colors it just makes it really work. But yeah, there's a couple of really, I mean, all of the liveries look really good. We look at Vitinho with the, it's almost a Spanish livery, even though he is from Brazil. But it's almost a Spanish livery with the red and the yellow. This is something I could see if Fernando Alonso ever has his own F1 team. I could see that being the colors of that F1 team.
Yes, that'll be amazing. And he's coming back to F1 in 2021 in real life, so you know, even though we may not see the livery on the car, we could go back to his roots where he actually won the championship as well. But Vitinho's gone with his team colours. Obviously his team colours is red and yellow, and I like the badges that come with it as well. The badges that you see on the standings were designed by obviously our graphics designer Lukey, who's done an incredible job in putting those designs together, so thank you very much to him, as Vitinho has just invalidated his lap time, but he's going into the pits anyway. Interestingly enough, still people going on a lap. We've got Jamie on a lap, but I think the ones that should be really going out on laps are ones that are probably in that bubble potentially of going out in Q3 potentially, just so they know what to work on, of course. And obviously Jamie had a few disconnection issues last week, and I've got a little bit of an announcement to say about Jamie. Actually, he's allowed me to say it because it is public. Jamie is basically gone off his sabbatical, well, 1 or 2 year sabbatical from League Racing, and he's returning to League Racing at his home at One Hump Racing. Can you believe that, Austin?
I certainly can, because I obviously knew about it for a little bit as well, but at the same time, when I first heard it, I was like, no way. No, surely not. Where did that come from? But yeah, Jamie is back, and hopefully better than ever. And it's going to be really interesting to see him compete again. And I mean, all we can really say is that we obviously wish him the best in all the competitions, so that he gets some good results. Obviously, he is one of the commentators as well. So from us two commentators,
yes,
yeah, there's a little bit of sympathy there.
He's taken my spot because I'm not racing. It's typical, because Jamie decides to, or I decide to not race because I've got lots of stuff to do behind the scenes, and Jamie's like, you know what, I'll race. So we could have been in the same tier, but Jamie's like, nope, I'm racing. So that's annoying that we can't race together, but you know, we did race each other in the charity event, and that was kind of fun. So we still had a bit of that to continue with. So the only people out on track is Nick, who's in 6th place. Who I've got to say, Nick was really shocked when he looked at the standings, and he was revealed as 7th place with 27 points, not far behind obviously the likes of Owen Westy and Eva Hannon on 30 points. So you know, Nick's still in the running of this as well. Imagine him gonna win his own event. He was the one who came up with this idea along with Lukey. So imagine that. But as long as, to be honest, he just hopes the game doesn't screw him over tonight, but he's looking okay so far. A decent lap time from him, actually. Astronauty's lap time is pretty good as well. I can't call who's actually going to be out of Q3, so they've got Q2 actually. So it's going to be close, but the tyres that they go on next is going to be the crucial one. If they set the fastest lap time on those, if they're on the top 10, that is what they're going to start with. But to be honest, I don't know which tyres to start on. It depends, obviously, if the rain comes in like that or if the rain waits for a little bit, because you never know with lobbies like this.
Yeah, but you got to remember as well, it's a 25% race. It's going to be an 18-lap race, and considering if we look at the lap times right now of 1:03, 1:04, the lap record around here is sitting at 1:05.6, set earlier this year at the Austrian Grand Prix. I don't even know, was it at the Austrian or the Styrian Grand Prix? Either way, it was Carlos Sainz with a 1:05.619.
It was the Styrian Grand Prix. It was the Styrian Grand Prix because Lando Norris got it on the Austrian one. So.
Okay. So it was Carlos Sainz then during the Styrian Grand Prix, the second running, with a 1:05.619. So multiply that times 18 and you get a race. Oh, as Astronaut has spun.
Oh, that's
in
close.
The final corner. Yeah, he avoided the wall there. He's still got some very overheated rear tires. He's still struggling with them, but he is very, very lucky to avoid the wall there. My goodness. Yeah, he's gonna struggle. He almost listed again. That's the thing. Once you do spin, you have to watch out. And I would argue we should probably stay with our camera on Astronaut. Oh, he retires from the session. Well then.
Phew.
That leaves us with Beastas as the final one. I think he retires rather shortly as well. Hopefully he does, because then we could skip Q1 or the rest of Q1, the other 45 seconds that we have left, very quickly. But yeah, if you do spin, your rear tires are going to be massively overheating, and that means that the next couple of corners are very, very tricky, and you need to get the tires back into the right operating window, otherwise you're going to spin again.
Yeah, especially when there's obviously safety cars as well, because they'll be in the unknown with the wet, and obviously they get so much colder. Obviously warming up your tyres in formation laps and safety cars is absolutely crucial. Obviously we found out in our own My Teams when we've had safety cars in the rain or formation laps in the wet, you look at the tyre wear and it's stone cold at the start. So these guys obviously need to be wary, of course, when managing those tyres, that they're going to be on their A game. As Beastas are just finished, that's good. They fixed the glitch when the timer goes 0, then that's it. So that's good news. Cody's has done something right anyway. So your order is not going to mean anything for now, but Beastas is on top yet again, with Dane Star in second, Rich in third, Owen in fourth. And we got Vitinho, Nick, Lee Hoffner doing well in 7th, actually. Is a good result for him. The top 7 separated by 8 tenths. And then we got Liam, Laser the Twig. And then we got Jamie, Astronauty, Kingan, Dexter, Stevie Hart, and Indecisive in last place. So those pretty much, I think I would say, everyone from, say, 7th downwards, potential even 6th downwards, they could be in the danger zone. So they need to step up their game. But the other guys, they need to not become complacent. Just because they've done well in Q1 doesn't mean they're doing well in Q2. Take the Ferraris in the first Austrian Grand Prix, for instance. That knocked them one out of Q2. So this becomes an important qualifying session for all of these drivers as they're all about to get ready. They don't have a setup already planned, obviously. Once they choose their setup in Q1, then that's it for the rest of the session. So all they can do is get out pretty quickly to set their first lap and set the benchmark.
Well, they can also adjust the brake bias and the differential, but that is about it. Everything else remains under parc fermé and therefore not able to change. But yeah, I think, honestly, looking at the times of Q1, I would say the top 5, if they replicate those times, that is Beastas, Danestar, Rich, Owen, and Vitinho, if they get into the 1:03s again, they should be safe. For everyone else, Nick in P6 with a 1:04.2, Lee Hoffner in P7 with a 1:04.2, Liam in P8 with a 1 minute 4.4, and so on and so forth. They all have to work a bit harder to maybe drop into the 1 minute 3s as well, and make sure that they make it into the next session. I think the drop off, although it needs to be said, with the conditions right now being very, very overcast, and I don't see a single ray of sunshine come through, maybe the times will drop a little bit, and we will see the times go down for everyone. But then again, if they drop by half a second for everyone, then 1 minute 4.5 will be the benchmark. Either way, the top 5 should have the easiest path here, as they have shown that they are the quickest. At least in Q1 they were.
Yeah, the benefit of being overcast as well, you're not going to get a really blind turn 1, obviously. I was riding on board with a few drivers, actually, going board with turn 1. It's just the braking zone is so hard, especially because some of these guys are running no assist at all, so they're not going to have the racing line to remind them on where to brake, of course, and the braking reference sometimes becomes meaningless for some people, so for these guys, for overcast, they can actually see the braking zone a bit more, obviously with racing line, and it can help them. So for some of these guys, it'll be absolutely relieved that it's overcast. But if I was racing in this, obviously, championship, well, this one-off championship for 2 weeks, I'll be scared, because obviously you have to warm up the tyres a bit more. So Kingen sets the benchmark so far, 104.6, Jamie 104.5. Nick's got some clear air though, so he's going to possibly get a good lap as well. Lee Hoffner, 104.0. Nick comes across the line now, it's a 104.1. That improves his Q1 time by a lot. Owen gets back into the 103.8 again. Vitinho, 103.6. Times are going thick and fast, Austin.
Yeah, I'm very surprised considering the conditions. These drivers still finding some time. Maybe it is, as you said, that turn 1. When it's overcast, you can finally see it. You're not being blinded by the sun shining down onto that turn 1 and the tarmac reflecting the sun. But you can actually see it for once. And maybe that's why they're finding some time here. Maybe it is that the sunny weather, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 2, I think that was for someone just going slow and letting someone else by. Maybe it is that the tires, when it's sunny, are prone to overheating, whereas in these overcast conditions, it's much easier to keep them in the right operating window, and the grip levels didn't deteriorate as much, as we have some more yellow flags for drivers coming into the pit lane now. So none of these yellow flags really all too important. But yeah, everyone pretty much improved. I mean,
wait a minute. I see drops of rain. I swear I saw drops of rain just
Yes. There is rain coming down. Owen instantly retires. He's done.
What?
Oh my god.
BFAS? 103.3 in the wet? Well, obviously it started to chuck. Well, most of it was dry, so he got lucky there. But
yeah, perfect timing.
Well, indecisive. I think that's his qualifying done, and
yeah, not just his.
Yeah,
not just his. Liam, Dexter, Stevie, Dane. I think they're out. I think this is it.
Dane's purple set to 1 though.
She rode.
Dane's purple set to 1. He's the one who can make it work in any weather, but we'll have to wait and see his set to 2 time. If his set to 2 time is incredibly slow, then we know that his qualifying is done. I was not expecting that. Rich did not tell us it was going to rain in Q2, so they kept that a surprise from us, didn't they? So let's see. What is his set to 2 time? 45.0. Purple.
I don't believe that. Hold on.
Wait. I don't even. I think it's probably just a glitch in the game. If Danestar gets pole,
it's not purple. The first sector was actually purple by 8 thousandths of a second. In the second sector, he lost 8 tenths to Beast. That's it. Almost slides and spins out of the final corner. Can he? No, he cannot make it into the top 10. Just misses out by half a second there. Maybe that last corner slide ruined him there. But yeah, as I said, I think Danestar, Liam, Indecisive, Dexter, and Stevie are out. I think that's all she wrote for Q2, and you can't improve at this point. The rain doesn't look like it's going to go away. And yeah, we're going to have 9 minutes of just waiting unless all the drivers are kind enough to retire.
Please. Please.
Yeah.
from
But
one.
we're not going to see much going on. I mean, unless someone is willing to go out there on intermediates, just for, let's say, for show purposes, if you
DRS
will.
disabled.
DRS now disabled. That means we're not going to see any improvement. I mean, Dexter is trying his best here. Rich retires. Yeah, wow, that came out of absolutely nowhere. That was quick. Dexter now retires with no time. That means, here's the thing: if I was Stevie, I'd stay out for another. I'd either come in, get intermediates, or
Oh no! Oh, he's out
Stevie's
anyway.
out. Stevie hits the wall and he is out. Yeah, either you stay out and try to set any lap time, because then Stevie would have been ahead of Dexter, or you come in, make sure you are very slow on the entrance to the pit lane. Go on to inters, just set any lap time, and make sure you're ahead of Dexter. But that was the worst of all the options there for Stevie. Hits the inside of the pit wall there, and yeah, it's at this point, guys, please retire. 7 minutes 40. We're not going to see any action here from Liam, Dane, Star, Astronauti, Jamie, Vitinho, B says. I don't think that rain is going to stop in 7 minutes and a half. And Dane Star retires. And we are waiting for the last 5 to retire as well. I think this is... Unless they have some sort of information that the rain is going to stop within the next 6-7 minutes, then it's fair enough that they are waiting still. But any other situation, at this point, it's done, it's over, and that came out of absolutely nowhere. So sometimes it does pay off to be the first one out on track and set a very, very early lap time. That is one of those situations. Liam is in the chat saying there are only a few more minutes of rain, so it might be, I would be very surprised, I have to say, but it might just be that the rain ends again towards the end of Q2. Beast has now retired, so we're stuck with 3 here: Jamie, Astronauti, and Liam. Jamie and Astronauti for now are semi... I mean, no, they are safe, because the only one who can improve is Liam. And even if he goes past both Astronauti and Jamie, he would push Kingen down. Kingen is the only one who's on the bubble here. Everyone else has retired at this point.
Ooh.
If this rain really stops, I can't believe it. I don't think this is gonna happen.
I don't. I can't believe, and that's Astronauti gone, but he's also in a danger as well. But I had exactly a similar situation in one league, but when it was I think obviously qualifying, well, short qualifying anyway, and if I knew it was going to rain in the race as well, if it was similar conditions into the race, what I did was I went on the inters for a little bit, for 5 minutes. I went on the inters for like a few laps. I know it was a waste of time for some people, but it was just practice in the wet conditions of what it was going to be in the race. And it really helped me get a feel for the car in those wet conditions. I put more fuel than intended to. So maybe some of these guys weren't smart enough, but obviously they don't have enough inters for the race. That's probably why they haven't done it. But in a normal 50% race, obviously if they had a lot more inters, if I were them, I would go on inters now and get a feel for the track ready for the race. But obviously they have not done that. So for now, Jamie and Liam, they're hoping that it's going to get any better anytime soon. For Indecisive, Dexter and Stevie, they're out. For Liam and Jamie, well, they can only hope and pray. Well, Jamie, I think, is pretty much safe, as Astro and Kingen has retired. So I think Jamie could retire right now. If Jamie, if you're watching, retire. You're safe, mate. it's just Liam that needs to go out again. And what prime time to be. Liam be one of our sponsors, the only one to go out and set a fast... Yeah, he's followed what we said, chat. He's followed what we said. And Liam's done the same.
Liam as well. So Liam, I think I know what happened. So the way the weather forecast works, let's go over the standings first. Beastas, Vitinho, Owen, Rich, Lee Hoffner, Nick, Lazy, Jamie, Astronauti, and Kingen make it through to Q3, but they will also all have to start on the soft tire. Dainstar in 11th, Liam in 12th, Indecisive in 13th, Dexter in 14th, and Stevie in 15th are set for the grid. And what I was about to say, I forgot. Whoops.
Yeah,
I don't.
It was just
can you help me,
anticlimax.
Jess?
It was just anticlimax. That's why we probably forgot what we were going to say. But the biggest shock has got to be Dave's. The biggest shot has got to be Dainstar. He made it to Q3 last week, and obviously due to the changing conditions, he's now out of Q2. Yeah. So he's got a long way to go. But if I was Dainstar, probably. I don't know, if it was a normal dry race, I would start on the mediums, but due to the fact that it is changing conditions, he could be screwed here, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. And it is rain for the qualifying. But... And I think what Liam meant was they could dry up towards the end of Q3, so maybe Liam timed it wrong. That's probably why people are on the softs, ready to go. They're just watching the delta time tick down. As soon as they've seen the delta time tick down, that is when they can say, right, that'll be enough to go on the soft. But that's probably why they didn't go out on the Inters in Q2, because they know that they can go on the Inters now to get a feel for the track.
Yeah, and that's even better, because now you can just be out there, get the feel for the track in Q3, where, you know, it helps you set a lap time. You're safe anyway in Q1, or you're out anyway in Q1. So Q2 rather, my apologies. So it doesn't really matter either way. But here in Q3, if it does stay rainy throughout the whole session, and it's never good enough for softs, at least you set a good lap time on the intermediates, and you might snatch a pole position. Whereas we do have Jamie on the softs. He's the only one. He's still in the pit lane, and it doesn't look like he's trying to make it out of the pit lane as of right now, at least. This might all change, but hold on. No, he's still in the pit lane. I thought for a second that was him, but I think that was Beastas. Yeah, it was Beastas. In fact, they have similar colors. They're both sort of yellow/gold, and so I was a bit confused there. But either way, now it's much better, because A, it gives you the opportunity to practice, and B, it gives you the opportunity to set a competitive lap time, as Jamie is now also on the intermediates. Maybe, here's what I'm thinking. Now that Jamie switched back to the Inters.
Astro spun in the gravel in, I think it was turn 7 and 8, turn 7? No, turn 7 and 8 actually. So he lost a little bit there. That could have been his qualifying over if he hit the wall, but luckily he just saved it there. So, you know, he got himself lucky there at the moment, but I'm trying to think who would be the first person to set a lap. I do believe Owen. Yeah, as he goes towards turn 4 now, and it stopped raining. It stopped raining on the circuit, but obviously since the track is so damp, we don't know how long it's going to be until the track dries up. All they're going to rely on is obviously their delta. Astro's out. He binned it. Looks like he binned it. Nothing near the pit exit by the looks of things. I know he didn't come out of the pits, but
no, it was turn 1. It was on the exit of turn 1. He spun to the inside, and my guess is that maybe he went too far onto the curb. Either way, Owen is the first one to come across the line. 112.1. Now, looking at the track and how much you can already see a sort of dry line, and how much the drivers are struggling with the intermediate tires on that sort of semi-dry line, maybe it's gonna be good enough for softs at the end of the session. Right now I would prepare. However, what I was saying earlier, with Jamie, as Beastas goes on to provisional pole, with Jamie switching from the softs back to the Inters to go out, maybe. It's just speculation. I have no information, unfortunately, whatsoever.
Okay.
But maybe he saw that the delta wasn't coming down as quickly as he was hoping it would. And so he was doing the calculations in his head and be like, this isn't enough time, 8 minutes. This isn't going to dry up quickly enough. Let's get out there while the conditions are perfect for intermediates and let's get a lap time in. Maybe that is what Jamie's doing right now. However, again, looking at the track, maybe it is drying up quickly enough.
Yeah, I think it's a track where it's not good for any tyre at the moment, so they've got to live with it, basically. And we did see someone, a yellow flag, but I thought that was someone going slowly. It's a purple car, so that's Lee Hoffner. Anyway, fair play to Hoffner for getting out at the right time in Q2. He's made it through to his first Q3 session, despite him being new to, obviously, the pre-season event, so well done to him, of course. But Jamie comes across the line now. That puts him in P7 at the moment. Laser the Twig is in the pit lane. He's just gone into the pit lane, actually. He's waiting for the soft to come as well. Rich is about to set his lap time as well with his lovely Union Jack livery, which I absolutely love, I've got to say. But Rich is one of those drivers that he wants to be there consistently in, say, like the top 3 and 4. And that's what's rewarding him. Remember last season, he had a really strong finish in the podium tier. He started off weak, but since he moved to Red Bull, he was just on it and got used to the 100 racing environment, and he's produced some very good results. And you never know, we may see it in season 16 when that comes along, and we may see it here tonight. He could still be in with an outside chance of taking the title, even if he doesn't have a win, because we may see other people bottle it. We'll have to wait and see. But Rich comes across the line in 6th. Lazy's got the softs ready. I won't be surprised if Jamie will get his soft ready at some point. But he's just not drying quick enough. I see some dry lines, but it's going to take a while, Austin.
Yeah, I think so too, as we have some drivers still out there just, you know, checking out what is the situation like, how quickly is it drying. Kingen doing 3 laps on those intermediates now. It doesn't matter because you're going to throw these away after Q3 anyway. You're not going to use these anymore. So use them to the best of your abilities right now, and just set some lap times, get a feel for the rain, and get a feel for these sort of crossover conditions. And yeah, it's really, really interesting now. What is the call here? Will we see dry running? Yes or no? At this point, I don't think it does dry quickly enough now. I thought it would, but I have to reverse course here a little bit. I have to adjust to the new information that I'm seeing with my own eyes, as Jamie is switching between softs and inters. Owen, I saw earlier, was switching between softs and inters. Lazy is just staying on the softs, but I think he's still monitoring that delta. Is Kingen going to come in now, or is he going to stay out? Yeah, he's staying out. He wants to still get a feeling for, is it drying up enough? He certainly does have the time, if you look at it, as he does improve slightly by 4/10, gets a little bit away from Jamie there. So the track is certainly still good enough for intermediate running, and for some of these drivers to improve, it seems.
Yeah, by the looks of things, and obviously B-Star switched between the softs and the inters as well. So that definitely reminds me of season 15 in Austria, where I suffered exactly the same, and I just had to judge the best moment. And you know, we saw people coming out at the wrong time. That put them way down the order. That shook up the grid a little bit, but we saw those guys came back eventually. Well, some of the guys anyway. But it just puts them a little bit out of place. Remember, Iverhanen had a bad quote. He didn't start pole, I believe, in Austria, I think in podiums here. And he went on to not have a really good race in the wet to dry conditions. Will we see the same with the likes of, obviously, Laser the Twig, Kingen, Jamie? Laser the Twig was involved in a few incidents last week. Let's hope he's not in a similar incident this week as well. Nick's still up in 4th place. Nick got lucky that he went out when he did in Q2, I've got to say, because that's it. Is that his first Q3 appearance, I believe, or did he make it through Q3 last week as well?
Good question. I don't remember, unfortunately.
I'll double check that. I'll double check that myself, because I don't actually know, because I probably will not have streamed it because the game decided to die on me. But at the moment, touch wood, it's going okay today. It's been going okay. I did a few fixes and seems to be going all right, touch wood. So hopefully it stays like that for the race. We've got 3 minutes left. It just doesn't look good, does it? But Owen's out on the inters, and so is B-Stas, Nick, Vitinho. Vitinho's going purple as well. Well, they can go out on as many laps they want on the inters, because obviously they won't be starting on them. So, you know, they can go out as much as they can, really. So those guys doing the right thing. But the danger is, if it does get dry enough for softs, then those guys are going to beat them. We'll have to wait and see. But they're smart. Pretty much all of these guys, actually all 10 of these guys, with the exception of I'm not sure if Laser the Twig has ever league raced, but all other 9 drivers have league raced at some shape or form, either if it's for one hub or if it was for another. I think all of them have been racing in one hub before, so they're used to this sort of environment as well. So Beefas is coming across the line to start his flying up. Owen's getting a bit of tow from, I believe, his next teammate. And Eva Hannon's just joined. Obviously, he's going to start at the back of the grid along with Westy, who joined earlier on. And Owen comes across the line now. Is he going to beat Beastad's time over 1:11.9? Yes, he does. 1:11.7. Beastad, we'll see if he's purple set to 1. Yes, he is. He's purple set to 1. He's going for it. Yeah, but it needs to be said, he only improved on his own Sector 1 by 0.007 of a second. Owen had a worse first sector than Beast has did, but gained it all in the second and the third sector. So Beast has right now, that purple first sector doesn't mean too much. What matters is right here, right now, second sector and third sector. Let's see. Middle sector shows purple. I'm going to check the times to make sure. 3 tenths. Yeah, 3 tenths up on his own time. 1/10 up on Owen's time. Now the final sector. Owen did a 22.1 there. Beast has 22.2. So if he can improve here, that could be a 111.5. If he can get this up to a 22.1 in the last sector. And it is an 11.3. Wow. Where did he take that from? 3.5 tenths. Exactly ahead of Owen as Vitinho retires in the pit lane, and he is right now in P3. Oh my goodness, this is going to get really, really interesting. There's still standing water on track. You can still see the spray from the cars. It's not much, but there is still spray, so there's still some standing water. So the Inters are actually the best tire until the very end of the session. I think, thank goodness, for some of these guys that are on the Inters. The ones who are hoping to go on the soft, they're all out on the Inters now, including Laser the Twig, who is yet to set a lap. A little bit squirmy on the exit turn 1, but he's got going again. But the worst he can start is P9, because obviously Astronauty is in 10th place at the moment. Vitinho could start at best P2. Well, P3, I mean, so obviously Owen's P2. As Beastas, he's probably going to go out for one more lap. He's out of fuel, though, so he hasn't got enough to set another one, but you knowing it. Wow! 1:11.3 on new tyres. He must have saved his ERS quite nicely, actually. That puts him on pole for now. That's it for qualifying for him. Rich sets to 1:11.2.
Hoffner's in the gravel. Lee Hoffner's in the gravel.
I think that's it, because Owen is in the pits. I think he didn't improve on his sector time, so he thought, right, that's it. He goes into the pit. Rich is still going. He's still going. We'll have to watch his sector times, though. He could be the one.
Oh, no, yep, that's his lap over. Kingen is coming across the line. DRS is now enabled, and he can use that, and does use that, to jump Jamie and move up to P7, and Lazy uses it as well to go up to P8 and drop Jamie back to 9th, and I think that is the session now. Pretty much over. Rich is the last one running, but with his mistake in the middle sector, that is him just limping back to the pit lane here. And one thing to note, you got to remember, in the rain, the drivers don't have to save ERS. They can actually go for multiple runs, multiple hot laps in a row without having to lift off and have a cooldown lap. The ERS allows them to do that, as Rich now retires in the session, from the session in the pit lane.
Thank you.
And that ends our qualifying.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I obviously found out, obviously, in the last game, obviously, when it was monsoon conditions that you put us through, Austin, you can save a lot of ERS, and you can on this game as well. So your top 10 order for the race, well, the 25% race is Beastas, once again, on pole position, with Owen alongside in the front row in P2. Our 2 race winners from last week. Vitinho in 3rd, Rich in 4th, Lee Hoffner in 5th, Nick in 6th, Kingen in 7th, Laser the Twig in 8th, Jamie in 9th, and Astro did not set a time, but he'll be starting in P10, but you'll still have to start on the soft compound tyres. And obviously we got Westy and Everhannon joining the rest of these guys at the back of the grid. Obviously I do believe they get a choice of setup at the start, so hopefully the guys give them enough time for them to choose a setup, so obviously it's a little bit unfair, and hopefully they got told about what the weather's going to be. Obviously they may have watched the stream, and I would advise that they did look at the chat, see what the weather is, but yeah, strategy is going to be different. In a normal 25% race, it's usually soft to mediums, but with rain involved, just like in Brazil last week, this could change everything. Obviously, which is going to be dry at the start, then it's going to be inters, then it's going to be potentially heavy rain. So 3 different tyres used throughout the course of this session. We could see a 2-stop, believe it or not, Austin, and we're not even enforcing that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure we're actually going to see a 2-stop. If we do go from dry running to light rain to heavy rain, the issue with that is that if you are running the intermediates in heavy rain conditions, around this track in particular, you only lose around, make it 2 seconds. It's such a short lap that you don't lose that much. And to gain back the time you lose from a pit stop around here, which isn't that much, it's a rather short pit lane and all, but at the same time, it is still a bit of time that you do lose. So to make up that time, you need plenty of laps, unless the heavy rain and the full wet conditions hit around lap 10, 11, 12. I think everything beyond that might be too late already. And it's probably better lap 13 onwards to just stick it out on the intermediates. So we'll see who is brave enough to try that and who is a little bit more cautious and does go in for the full wets. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be a lot about making decisions on the spot and in the moment, and who gets the best decisions, who has the best choices, will remain victorious.
Yeah, indeed, and that's what you got to do in any sort of league race. The best drivers actually come across as the ones who plan their strategies ahead of time. They practice for all sorts of wet conditions, like the dries, obviously overcast, heavy rain, inters, even changeable conditions as well. They pretty much practice for pretty much everything. Then you know you can handle whatever the book throws at you, really. But to be honest, so some of the most experienced drivers may struggle as well. So it is down to, I think, the timing, especially around Austria, of all places as well. Austria and Canada are both tracks that are prone to getting rain. We saw that in One Hub Season 15 in pretty much most of the tiers of our, and I think Canada, the only one that didn't rain was Pinnacle. Obviously, positioning, I think, saw rain in Canada as well, but we'll go for that in a minute. But, you know, I'm guessing they would have had to practice for the rain, as all of these guys are warming up on their tyres now. Interesting enough, Indecisive Matt, Dexter and Stevie Hart thinking that the rain is going to come a bit later and opting to start on those medium tyres, but it is probably going to come back to bite, as obviously it's not as sunny as expected for them. So they're going to hope that the inters are going to come a bit later, but we'll have to find out as the session progresses, of course. Everybody else is on the soft, Austin.
Really interesting. It might actually help them if the rain does, hold out a little bit longer. You got to remember one thing, I think, that might be a bit, might throw the drivers off a little bit, and I'm trying to be quick here as Everhannon takes the final grid slot, is that we're not sure about the frame of the weather forecast.
Yeah, indeed. And we've got the 5 red lights coming on your screens right now. Everhannon getting a drive-through penalty. That's not the start that he wants, but we are racing in Austria for the 25% race. Someone's gone off the circuit. Almost he beast that. And someone spun. I think that's Indecisive. Owen takes the lead into Everhannon, sorry. Owen takes the lead in turn 1. Just like Simmons what he did in Brazil, but this time he took it from P2. as the top two are running away with it at the moment. We got Lee Hoffner trying to go for a move past Vitinho, and he does it with ease, up into P3 right now. Nick dropping down into 6th place already. Liam up into 7th place after starting lower down the grid, even not making Q3, so he's had a good start as well, and he could be on for a good finish. Danestar, Westy has also had a brilliant start as well. Kingen has not had the greatest of starts.
Yeah, just to talk about what happened there with Everhanden. So he got a jump start, and he did what you should do as we have a yellow flag. That is for...
That was for Twig. He spun.
Yeah. So he got a jump start. He did what you should do if you do jump start. Floor it. Just absolutely floor it, because you're going to get a penalty anyway. Why not just absolutely send it? And he was trying to go down the left side of the track and get past the whole grid. Unfortunately, some of the drivers had a good start and had to themselves avoid other drivers and had to steer to the left where Everhanden was trying to go. So Everhanden had to go onto the grass, and that's when he started sliding and ultimately spinning into other cars and then into the wall. He's now in the pit lane.
Nick's in the pits. Nick was in the pits as well. Nick.
Yeah, Everhanden getting his front wing changed. He's got a new front wing on his car now, and he will have to still serve a drive-through penalty for that jump start. So that hasn't been served yet. He has time to do so until the end of lap 3.
Yeah, indeed. And with the advantage of obviously the dry start and obviously the changeable conditions, they can drain their battery a little bit more, but obviously they've got to still manage their ERS when they go into the DRS zones. Actually, as well, we got another yellow flag. That's probably got someone going very slowly at the back, but Everhanden's day's gone from bad to... I think I cursed him, Austin, by the way. He said a bad race in Australian season 15. Meanwhile, we got Liam trying to make a move past Danestar, well, holding on to Danestar into turn 3, and he's not that far behind Vitinho in P4 as well. So he's potentially going to try and go for a move into turn 4, and he's not going to do that. He's going to have the DRS, but I don't think he's overtake that much. He could try into turn 5 as Vitinho not getting the better exit there compared to Liam. Liam doing very well. He hasn't spun yet. He's got very, very lucky. He has a few of these other drivers. Danestar, you can see Danestar is so much faster than Liam. He just wants to get past him. Danestar is probably telepathing onto Liam saying, let me pass, I'm faster than you. But I mean, he still could get past him potentially, as well as I missed it. Beastas, whilst we saw that Liam battle, Beastas overtook Owen for the race lead.
Danestar is really close. I'm on board with Danestar now here. And I think now it's happening because Liam has run out of ERS, and Danestar says, well, I haven't. So Danestar goes for it, and Liam has to pretty much let him by at this point. Westy also trying to get around the outside of Liam there. Wasn't there, that move, but Danestar up to P5, Liam P6, and Westy P7. Now Westy going down the inside of Liam here into turn 4. Danestar with a lockup up front, but I think Westy has it. Yes, he does. Gets it down the inside, and Westy goes up to P6. I gotta say, Westy, he started in P16. He didn't participate in qualifying. He's now up to P6. What a first opening laps that was from ILRT Westy right here.
He did the same, I believe, in the first race, obviously, I can't remember what the first race was last week. Well, let's screw that. But yeah, Westy, he's good at starting from the back and climbing his way forward. He's usually good at that sort of thing. He's a top-tier driver. He was a top-tier driver in one of last season, and he's a top-tier driver than most of these guys, and you expect him to be quick, and he's proving that right now. But you can see Danestar and Vitinho going side by side, former championship rivals in a position to Danestar gets the move sent, and he's up into P4. His next challenge is Lee Hoffner. It's only 1.4 seconds now away from him, but you can see Vitinho trying to go for a move once again into turn 4. A little bit of a lock-up from Vitinho, and that's Danestar's lucky doing at the moment. He stays P4 as Vitinho just made a little bit of a mistake there. Westy is still holding on for dear life. He's got more ERS compared to the other two right now. Vitinho on 33%. Danestar has got plenty as well. So Vitinho is stuck in a ERS sandwich pretty much. We do have a yellow flag, but that's gone out of the window so far as well. Some people would do the undercut here if it was a soft to medium strategy. But obviously they can't do that because they're racing for the rain. To be honest, whoever started on the mediums, like Stevie Hart, Dexter, Indecisive, I think they're prey to the gods, and it's worked because it's still dry.
Yeah, and at this point you have to think about how much wear is in those soft tires already, as here goes Westy on Vitinho into turn 3, gets the move done. Vitinho, not much he can do about it. However, he might be able to fight back now. Down the back straight into turn 4. Has to go the long way around. Around the outside, and Westy, oh, they touch, and oh, Vitinho almost lost it there. And that was a bit scruffy, I have to say. Ultimately, Westy does stay ahead. I'm not sure what the steward's going to make of this, but my first instinct is racing incident here. And let them continue. But certainly not the cleanest of moves there, with both cars coming together. And Vitinho now into the pits. Now that is interesting, because the question now becomes, will we see any rain at all in this race?
We'll have to wait and see. You never know. I did say you never know how Cody's are like with lobbies. I had a feeling that the rain was not going to come for a short while. And Vitinho onto the mediums, doing the undercut on at Danestar. So Danestar will have to respond. I think it's getting better, because it started off as quite, well, it was a bit sunny, but not as sunny as obviously normal. And let me just see who's there is some battles going on, so I won't do it. But when we get to turn 1 potentially, we will know if it's similar conditions to obviously normal time trial, because obviously the sun is too bright. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously Beastas is absolutely nailing his race so far. 3.1 seconds clear of Owen right now in obviously their teams at the moment. Danestar only 1.4 seconds behind him, so he's still catching up just a little bit. We are starting to see who is managing those soft tyres and who is not. We're going to get in 2 laps time, the time when they do have to pit no matter what. Otherwise they will get into puncture territory, as I think Dexter has got obviously got past a few cars. We've got Jamie and Rich was on the soft tyres, and they're going onto the medium tyres. We've got Westy getting past another car up into P4. He's got past Liam. Now he's got past Lee Hoffner. Could he be on for a podium?
Tricky situation that, considering Danestar is one of the drivers in front, and the other two are Owen and Beastaz, the 2 drivers who have already won a race in our You Created Will Make It event. So it's going to be really tricky for Westy here to actually get away with a podium. But just to elaborate on what I was saying during the formation lap, towards the very end of the formation lap, as Westy now gets a 3-second time penalty, that certainly won't help his cause. We don't know the time frame of the weather forecast. So what the drivers see is they see, I think, 7 or 8 sort of weather symbols, and it's a sun for clear, a sun with a cloud in front for light clouds, 2 clouds for overcast, a cloud with 3 raindrops for light rain, and a cloud with 5 raindrops for heavy rain. That's all the drivers see. 7 of those symbols over time, basically, but we don't know what the time frame is. So we don't know whether the 7th symbol means end of the race, whether it means end of what would be a 50% race, whether it means end of what would be a 100% race. We don't know. I think, from a little bit of experience, I think these time frames are let's say standardized to 50% races. So that means if the 4th symbol in that 7-8 symbol span is still dry weather, then we're going to have dry at the end of the race. And I think that's what we're seeing right now, that the drivers are going to have to come in and change tires from the softs to the mediums at some point here.
We are seeing the pit window come up at least, almost certain for Westy anyway. He is wanting to go in. Yep, and a few other guys as well. I mean,
Beastars.
Yeah, Danestar's already caught up to the back of Owen, so I think Owen is struggling on those softs more than Danestar. I think Danestar was saving quite a bit on his fuel usage as well, and that's really helping him on this late stage of the race. We could say, you never know. It happened last week as well, where the rain came, potentially quite late. You remember when, obviously, we thought it was not gonna rain, and obviously it did. We thought Nick was lying to us, but it was true. It did come towards the end. We will probably see a similar situation here as well, and due to the fact there are less weather slots in 25% races, it is an open to possibility. Oh, Beastas gets a 3-second time penalty, but at the moment, with the deficit Owen's got, at the moment he needs to Beastas got to be at least 3 seconds clear of him at the moment. But with the battle Danestar and Owen having right now for P2, it could be easily Beastas' win so far at the moment. Here comes Danestar. He's going to try and breeze past into turn 2 and now potentially into turn 3. I think Owen's going to have the DRS though going into turn 3, which he does. He's probably going to wait for the moment, so he reacts quite quickly as well. Yeah, he's too far away to get the pass done so far, but you never know, as he's going to try and go for the late lunge into turn 4. Again, a bit of a lock-up, but he stays in P3, but the gamble didn't pay off for him, and he's probably going to challenge Danestar in the, obviously, potentially in the final lap before the pit. This I've never gone on the soft for this long. This is danger territory for these guys.
I'm surprised they haven't pitted yet. I definitely would have at this point and gambled, but I think maybe some of these drivers, especially Beastars days, I would say most of all probably Owen. If you think back to the first race in Belgium last week, we had those conditions in Belgium, you know? We had rain coming towards the end and everyone stayed out on the dry tires, and no one lost more time, I think, than Owen, and more positions from it than Owen did. And so he's he's a little bit of a wounded animal in that regard. He's a little bit of a, he's very cautious now. He doesn't want to miss the window to switch on to intermediates. He'd rather be an intermediate in wet conditions than on dries and just absolutely sliding everywhere. So maybe that plays into his decision making, that he has that experience from last week from Belgium, where he was struggling so much on dry tires in the wet, which, I mean, that's just natural, as Owen now gets a 3-second time penalty for running just a bit wide there. But at some point, you have to come in. Beastas stays out, Danestar stays out, and Owen stays out. How much longer are they going to try and do this?
That is the crucial factor. It is getting darker, so I think if I were them, I don't know. You've got to potentially, maybe some of these guys have had a setup to get the tyres up, and Owen could lose out on the podium here because Westy is trying to get past him as well. We are seeing who's got the best setup geared to tyre pressure mainly, because you can change tyre pressure on all 4 tyres, not just 2 this time. And I think Westy has managed this a lot more. Obviously, he's on fresher tyres than Owen, because obviously Westy didn't take part in qualifying. So the only person to benefit from starting at the back is Westy. Obviously, Eva Hannon's still in last place at the moment. We could see a Brazil situation where the rain just doesn't come and it's not enough for a change of tyres.
Yeah, this could very well be the case. Either it's going to end up being like Belgium last week, because Beastas is now in. Danestar and Owen stay out, as does Westy, as does Lee Hoffner. So they're all staying out. And Beastas, the first one to pull the trigger here, going onto the mediums. He's had enough. And he now decides, you know what, even if it does start raining, I don't care. I'm going out on the mediums and I want to win this race. I'll pull the undercut on everyone else. And he comes back out behind Liam, but way ahead of Dexter, actually. 3.5 seconds ahead of Dexter, and therefore definitely clear. As Indecisive Mac has been disqualified. How do you do that?
Oh, I was on board with Beastas. It looks like he's spun. I think he spun. I think turn 3.
Yeah.
And then he just disqualified for going the wrong way, or maybe too many
I'm
penalties.
gonna check. He was disqualified for. It's gonna take a while to scroll.
It is fine. It's fine. We should be able to see this with Taz next
Wrong
week.
way.
Yeah,
Wrong way.
I thought so. Because I didn't see him get many penalties, so I thought it can't be penalties. It's got to be something else. So, yeah, that's a shame. That means he gets 0 points. And obviously, I'm just going to check what points he was before the race. I've got it on my little chart. Oh, we got a...
Stats, meanwhile, goes past Liam on the better tyres, I would say, at this point. The 14-lap-old Toft compared to the... when did he come in, B-Stats? Unfortunately, the 0 laps it shows there. That's incorrect, but Beastars came in at the end of lap 13, so they were 1 lap old and a bit.
It's raining.
Rain, yep, but it's not enough.
No, it's not.
I think Beastars did the right choice here. Look at the gap, 13.8 seconds between Danestar and Beastars, between P1 and P5. At this point, Beastars definitely has the advantage. He doesn't have to pit anymore. The top 4 all do. So, question really is, how intense is the rain going to be? And it doesn't look all too intense. Beast has... Oh, but there's still 3 laps to go. That's the thing. There's still 3 laps to go. Owen's coming in. He wants the intermediates now. Probably a bit early, but at the same time, if the transition happens quickly, Lee Hoffner also comes in. Do they go for inters?
He does.
Yes, they do. Owen does, and Lee Hoffner, he's not at his pit stall yet. But he's coming in and he goes for inters as well. And I think the same goes for Dexter.
Yeah, there he goes.
Yes, indeed. Now, when do we see the DRS disabled message in the bottom left corner of the screen? We have a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. That is for... that just
gone off
Stevie.
the screen. Oh, Ivahanen! Disqualified for penalties.
Yep. That's the thing. Once you do get a penalty for a jump start, you get a drive-through, you're not allowed that many more penalties to get. Then again, looking at Ivahanen here, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional penalties. I don't know how he did that, but he got a drive-through from the jump start. Then he got, he got plenty of penalties. He had 3 seconds, 6 seconds. Oh yeah, it's plenty. Oh wow, 9. Make that 12.
Oh my god.
15.
Corner cutting is strict around this circuit, so in a way,
7 penalties.
Now, Owen's got a penalty. Danestar, Westy, they've come into the pit. Westy is, I think Westy is ahead of Owen on those fresher inters, of course. So
look at Vitinho. Look at
Vitinho.
He's in P3. He's on the mediums, and the message hasn't come up yet, has it?
No,
the DRS disabled message. So Vitinho might be on for a P2 here if he can hold it on track well enough. However, I think it's going to come any moment now. The message that the DRS is disabled. It doesn't look like Vitinho is strong enough on those medium tires. And there it is. Yep, as I called it.
And
now Vitinho on his medium tires is gonna fall prey to all the cars behind him. Westy already overtook him. Owen is probably going to get to him. A top 5 for Vitinho would still be a really good result. The next question becomes, now that Beastars is on the final lap, 8.6 seconds. Can Danestar gain that? It's gonna be difficult, but Beastars is on the medium tire. Danestar's on the intermediate. So Beastars needs to make sure he stays on track, doesn't make too many mistakes. It's a short lap. That is his saving grace, maybe. But he needs to make sure he doesn't spin. He has to take it so slowly through turn 3. And on the throttle 50% until he gets to like 4th gear. Can only use overtake in 6th and 7th gear. And no ERS left either. Has to make sure on the brakes. Misses the apex by a mile there. Oh my goodness. This is... No! Beastars almost spinning. 4.5 seconds, 4 seconds. Dainstar's getting really close, 3 seconds. Can Dainstar snatch this win from the jaws of defeat? He can see him now. 1.5 seconds, 2 corners left to go. Dainstar smells the victory. Can he make it past Beastaz? Beastaz, will he go defensive? I don't think so. But Dainstar needs to find a way through. Goes down the inside. They touch. And Dainstar's down the inside and takes the lead. Will he get the win as Beastaz almost spins? Dainstar comes across the line, but I think he has penalties, but so has Beastaz. No, Dainstar did not have any penalties. Dainstar wins, Beastaz second. Owen third. Westy will be in fourth. We'll see the penalties. Maybe Lee will go fourth. Lee Hoffner in fourth. Vitinho in... Vitinho misses out by 2/10 on the top 5.
What about Liam?
So Westy 5th, Vitinho 6th, Liam 7th.
Wow, that was a crazy end to the race. You just didn't know what was going to happen. We thought the threat of heavy rain just didn't materialise, unfortunately for us. And, I mean, it helped. I think Dainstar timed that absolutely perfectly. And what helped him was he had a setup which was geared to tyre saving, really, to be honest, and tyre wear. He had a better setup for that, and, he did his research carefully, and that's what helped him go from... Don't forget, I'm looking at the tyre, the position changes. He started P11, and he's won the race. One of the biggest gainers of this. Westy gained 11, Dexter gained 6, Liam gained 5 places. Everybody else has dropped at least 1 position or stayed where they started, but a third winner in 3 races. Beastaz winning the first one, ILRT Owen winning the second one, and the third winner of this event goes to Dainstar, and the in-game driver of the day of the race is Westy.
Yeah, and I gotta say, considering how far down he started, probably a good shout, but at the same time, Dainstar, man, what a final lap. He gained 9 seconds on Beastaz there, simply due to strategy. What a run that was. It's very rare to ever see anyone being 8.5 seconds down on the final lap, at the start of the final lap of the race, and still go on to win. But Dainstar did just that.
I mean, Austria does bring out its surprises. It has done that pretty much, obviously, when it was heavy rain in qualifying in the first... the Styrian Grand Prix anyway. And I've got to say, well done to all these guys. So Dainstar takes the win from Beastaz. Owen in third. Again, he's got another podium to his name. That may help him climb it up a little bit in the drivers. Then we got Hoffner in fourth, Westy in fifth, Vitinho in sixth, Liam in seventh. Our newest management member, the highest management member of the race, Dexter, in PA, being both Jamie and Nick. I think Dexter's going to be very happy with that, because he will definitely wanted to beat Nick. And we got Twig, Astro, Jamie, Rich, Nick, King, and Stevie. And then we are 2 disqualifications of Eva Hannon and Indecisive. But, wow, I wasn't expecting this to happen, but it was just so unpredictable. And that's what I like about changeable conditions. You just never know what's going to happen. And Dainstar comes out on top.
I just crunched the numbers a little bit here regarding the championship standings before the final race of Canada, with the reverse grid, obviously. So it means that we have Dainstar starting from P17, Beastaz from 16th, Owen from 15th, and then we have Indecisive from pole position, Eva Hannon from 2nd, and Stevie from 3rd. So, championship standings. Beastaz is sitting at 58 points. Hold on 1 second. I didn't check the fastest lap. I might want to do that.
I will check that as well. I'll need to
so
refresh the stream.
Beastaz got the fastest lap inside the top 10. And I think outside the top 10, did you scroll down?
Yeah, I did scroll down.
Yes, you did. Okay, good. Just...
come on, I think I didn't scroll off quick enough. It was...
No, you did. Rich got it outside the top 10. So we have, as I said, Beastaz. So Beastaz on 59 points, and Rich is then on 44. So Beastars P1, 59 points. Owen P2, 48. 11-point gap. That's going to be very, very difficult to overcome.
He lost it. It was 9 point. It was a 9-point gap between him and Beastas at the start of it. So he lost. I think he lost 2 points. I think by that.
Yeah, he lost 1 point from being right behind Beastas in P3. Beastas was P2. He was P3, and another point for Beastas' fastest lap. So there's the 2 points. So yeah, 59 for Beastas, 48 for Owen. In third place, we have now Westy with 46.
Wow.
In fourth, we have Rich with 44. In fifth, we have Kingen with 41. In sixth, we have Dainstar with 39. Seventh is Dexter with 37. Eighth is Nick with 35. Ninth is Vitinho with 33. And 10th is Lazy the Twig with 32.
It's closer than I thought, but one thing I'll need to do is I'll need to actually get the points, because actually no, I don't need to do research, because basically first place gets 20, second place gets 19, and it's 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, all the way down to 1 point, and obviously the fastest lap points inside and outside the top 10. So the only one not to get, well, 2 people not to get a point in this race was Indecisive and Evahan, and everybody else has got at least 1 point. So well done to them, of course. And the lobby is set to Canada, but our lovely lobby host Nick is going to be setting the grid order for this race. And we've seen the ones that have triumphed in this grid situation were ones that come again lower down the grid order and went on to win. Last time we saw Owen come from 7th to win, and we saw a few other guys came from lower down to be coming on the podium as well. So this may go in someone's face. We don't know what the weather is, of course. Hopefully it's rainy again. That could spice things up a bit more, but for most of these drivers, they hope it's going to be a dry session. Again, it's soft to mediums, of course, and but the benefit that Owen's going to have, he's going to be ahead of Beastas at the start. So he's going to have the jump initially compared to him. So there's only a gap. But he's got to, if he wants to win over Beastas, if he wants to take the title, he's got to basically Beastas has got to score pretty low with Owen, like either winning or getting a few other places above him. That's the only way Owen could win the title right now, as is Westy, Rich, and all the other guys outside of that bubble as well. So, you know, I mean, that is going to be intriguing to say the least, but that's the beauty about this championship. We won't know who has won the title until the final race, but Beastas has stayed in the top pretty much for the whole championship so far, and it will be such a shame for him to lose it in the final race. So, but whoever wins it, it's got to be well deserved, and they want that medal and that £10 PSN voucher. But again, we're loading into the lobby now. I'll switch scenes before I forget, but who's your money to win this one, Austin?
The race or the whole championship?
Both. I'll start the race first.
Oh, that's already a tricky one. So championship is easier, I think. You got to go with the favorite there in Beastas. For the race, honestly, I'm gonna say it's gonna be between Evahanen and Kingen. If one of them can get a really good run off the line and, you know, through the first couple of corners, stay out of trouble, then there's a really good chance. Evahanen struggled a lot last race with penalties. Kingen, I think he just got screwed over by the strategy. Kingen finished down in 14th and did not have a good race at all. But I think starting in P4, and considering that he was 3rd before race 3 in our little mini championship here, I think Kingen may be a good bet to win this race. One thing to note regarding the points is that only the top 6, Beastas, Owen, Westy, Rich, Kingen, and Dainstar, are still in this. Everyone else, Dexter, Nick, Vitinho, Lazy the Twig, Evahanen, Stevie, Jamie, Liam, Astronaut, Lee Hoffner, Indecisive, and Cloudy. Well, Cloudy isn't even here, but you know, he was here last week.
He couldn't make it
they're
due to
all-
personal reasons.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not here. I should have said, but I forgot.
That's all right. You said it now.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, eh?
Yeah, but they can't win the championship anymore. So everyone from Dexter downwards cannot win this little championship here anymore. Only the top 6 in the standings. So Beastas in 16th, Owen in 15th, Westy in 13th, Rich in 6th, Kingen in 4th, and Danestar in 17th. They're the only ones who can still win the championship. So the bottom 3, 13th, 6th, and 4th. They are the 6 drivers we're going to have to look at specifically. And I would say, again, Kingen and Rich are probably going to be the biggest favorites. And Ivehanen, obviously, for the win of this race, I think, for the championship. Unless Beastas really has some issues to get past the other drivers and is involved in some incident. It can always happen. I mean, you start in P16 and you try. It's a reverse grid. You can always be involved in some incidents. We know how good Beastas is, not just in terms of outright pace, but also racecraft. But it can still happen. It's always a possibility. I never rule it out. And if he does get into trouble, then there is a chance that we might see a different championship winner. But yeah, we've seen it last week at the second race, the Brazilian race. He didn't get into too much trouble. He still made it onto the podium after winning the first race.
I think he's the only driver to get a podium in every single race as well. And maybe the consistency of Rich and Kingen could help them in this final race. If they have a good race today in, obviously, Canada, where the strategy could be tend to favour the ones who go for the undercut, we shall say. As Indecisive is going to be on par. I think he was on pole last week as well. So let's see if he could have a better start. He's on the mediums compared to Ivehanen softs. Obviously, Ivehanen was a champion of podiums here last season. Who's going to get the jump? We got another jump start, but this time it's from Liam. But he goes and floors it, like mentioned as well. But it's going to be 4 wide, and there's a crash in, almost a crash in at turn 1, similar to last week, but obviously less chaotic so far. A bit of a pile-up, a bit of damage in front wing, but Nick has got through that Nick's probably gone through that unscathed. Indecisive stayed in the lead, and the timings are going all over the place, so it's really hard to see at the moment. But Beastas,
I think we're good now.
Yeah, Beastas, I think. I'm trying to see where Beastas is.
Oh, here comes Kingen. Kingen into the lead. Indecisive Mac with a mistake out of the what is that? 1, 2. I can't even count. 3, 4, 5, 6 out of turn 7. And Indecisive losing more positions here now to Nick and Liam and Ivehanen as well. So he's dropping down the order. Rich coming through past Jamie. I was on board with Jamie, and all of a sudden you see a blue Union Jack car flying past. And Rich now up to P6, trying to get Indecisive here as well. And he does.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Rich. Of course, he knows that the title is at stake at the moment. Kingen is the one ahead, I believe. Yeah, Kingen is the one ahead out of all the 6 that are still mathematically in it. And Westy's, now there's 5. There's 5 cars now mathematically in, because Westy has retired. That is a shame.
And, of those 5, 2 are battling fiercely here with Danestar and Beastas. My God, Danestar just sent one down the inside of turn 1 there. It took no prisoners as Indecisive Mac has spun around on the exit of turn 4. Has to get the car back around again. Don't get disqualified for going the wrong way. He did not, thankfully. But yeah, that's him down from P1 from pole position all the way down to P14. But thankfully, I would say for some of the drivers at least, no safety car for that incident. And yeah, Kingen. Oh, Nick getting a little bit of a struggle there out of the hairpin, and now Liam is on him. Question is Liam going to go into the pit lane? He now has a good pit entry in front of him. However, you always want to stay out for as long as possible. And no, he does actually come in to serve his drive-through penalty from the jump start. And Kingen goes fastest. He goes purple. Where is Beasthouse? Beasthouse is in P10 now. He is behind Danestar, but right now P10, no matter what anyone else does, P10 would be enough for Beasthouse to win the championship.
Yeah, indeed. So obviously, I believe you got. I think it's basically Owen's got beaten by 11. Well, 10 points or 11 points in order to win.
12 points. 12 points.
12 points, because he's fifth at the moment. So, Beasthouse has just got to have a horrible race. We've got safety car. Stevie's out.
Yeah.
Wow. We've seen that in the second race last week. We had no safety car or VSC in both of the first races.
I'm seeing where Stevie is out. That is on the straight before the Wall of Champions. You see that right next to the number 3. That is his car. How do you end up retiring there? What has happened? On the straight, that is a very, very uncharacteristic spot to retire. And obviously, since you have no runoff areas there, again, this is just a straight. You have walls on the left, walls on the right. There are no runoff areas whatsoever. Of course, there's a safety car for that, as Kingen is now being picked up by said safety car. Now, the question is, everyone coming in apart from the top 4. So, Kingen, Owen, Jamie, and Dexter stayed out. They're hoping maybe for a second safety car?
It happened last week, but don't count your chickens. Just because it happened last week, that doesn't mean it will happen again. So, but to be honest, I've done a race around Canada. The medium to soft strategy, it just works. It just works quite well, because obviously the softs, there's not much different at the end of the day compared to it, really. You get more of a benefit if you pit quite early for the softs, actually, in about a few laps' time. But obviously after the safety car, but they're going to be on fresh softs anyway. They're going to power away through the rest of the field right now. So that's going to help them a little bit. But I'm just seeing I didn't see who else pitted, so I'm actually going to check right now. There we go. So Nick, Eberhannon, Danestar, Vitinho, Beasthouse, Rich, Liam, Lee Hoffner, Ashton Orsi, and Laser the Twig has stopped. Laser the Twig stopped twice. The top 4 stayed out. Indecisive are the one who started in pole position, also didn't stop.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting. I don't think any one of them is going to come in now. That would be very, very surprising if any of the top 4... Yep, they're all staying out there. At this point, it doesn't make any sense. Even though not all of the field has caught up to the safety car yet, they're all in full speed. And you would fall behind probably Lee Hoffner at this point. If you do decide to pit, and that would be P12. Then, obviously, if all 4 of them pit, that would be P9, 10, 11, and 12, which not exactly the best track position, is it?
No, it's not. You're right in the middle of everyone, and we've seen what happened at the start. We saw a pile up as well. So they're going to hope that other people have a bad start, bad restart, and then they can just swoop their way through the rest of the field, and then that's them pretty much sorted at the moment. Obviously, the top 4 will need to pit. Everyone else doesn't need to make a pit stop. Again, the mediums could last until the end of the race, technically now. So as long as they get their tyres up to temperature, they should be fine. If there's another safety car, then they have the flexibility to go onto the softs again, because they should have another pair of softs remaining, I would have thought. So that would, I think, work wonders. So maybe the ones in the medium shot themselves in the foot. The ones in the mediums are going to hope the safety car comes before they have to pit, because obviously they will have a free pit stop. The ones on, obviously, the mediums now who have just pitted, they're going to hope that it comes quite late into the race, so then they can get a shiny set of softs on, and that can really help them in a way too. So, you know, it's anyone's game here, as Kingen is going to be the one that leads the field away. The guy that Austin said is going to potentially win the race, the one you said in Brazil won the race. Could we see a similar thing happen tonight? It's looking possible for Kingen, but he's on the soft, so he has to pit again, and he'll be on obviously he'll have to go on mediums, but everybody else around him in the top 3 will have to go on the soft compounded tyres. But Here goes Kingen and Owen already pulling away from everybody else on that restart. We got yellow flags at the back. We got a few spinners right now. But so far, I think everybody else making it cleanly through turn 1. We see Liam trying to make a move on Rich there into turn 2. We got our first time penalty from the top 4 at least. And that's from Owen, a 3-second time penalty. I think I'm almost certain that was turn 4, almost certainly. As we got a big train of cars now heading towards potentially the next DRS straight coming up soon too as well. Liam just stays behind as well. We've got another yellow flag. Owen just on the brink of Kingen. Kingen's tyres may start to die pretty soon. This could well be the mediums will be at the optimum temperature. Owen's going to go for the setting into the hairpin. Astronauty is out, but enough about that. Owen's got enough ERS to make this hairpin move work. Here he goes. He's in the lead of this race and he is in prime position right now. But yet again, he is still to pit, whereas most of his rivals, apart from Kingen, don't have to.
Yeah, and we have a BSC now. Astronauty is out, has left the session, so everyone as Owen now leads. And Kingen using this for his pit stop. That's a smart call. He was right there. The situation came up at the perfect moment. He's not going to lose that much time.
Jamie's in
still
as
not
well.
as great as it's still not as great as a safety car, but BSC, it's your next best option.
Yeah, it is. That's good timing for Kingen. That is perfect timing for him. Obviously, he was on the softs. So he had to pit quite earlier anyway compared to his medium counterparts. So, he's probably going to be in more of a benefit on the guys that have just pitted. So, he could still climb a little bit in this championship. Obviously, he's way down the order in terms of position now. But when there is a safety car, he could go on the softs again. He could benefit just like the ones we pitted earlier as well. Ooh.
Back in the green.
Dexter's got a drive-through. I think we saw the same last week as well, where he got a drive-through as well, or it might be in another league, I'm not sure. But Danestar getting the move done. A little bit of a swerve from Danestar. No, not from Danestar, from Dexter actually. But Danestar up into third. Nick in P2, obviously after pitting onto the medium compounded tyres. Eberhanen trying to get past Dexter now with a great move from him. Dexter, the first of the medium to soft runners into the pit lane. I wonder if he's going to serve his stop first or his drive-through, because obviously he did get a drive-through. I'm almost certain it will be a drive-through that he's going to serve first. Yes, I think it is, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it is his drive-through. So then when he next comes in, that will be his next stop, which is going to lose a chunk of time. It would have been 7th or 8th in the championship if he kept this up. But unfortunately, that mistake in the VSC costed him, but it might be a glitch in the game, which I hope Cody's fixed, because it's a bit of a shame. I'm almost certain it was a glitch, because Delta always brings out glitches in a way, I've got to say. But look at Danestar on the back of Nick going towards the hairpin now. Liam getting another penalty as well. That this can come back to bite him. Danestar saying the times are light right now, but Danestar...
Yeah, it is. Here's something I never thought I would say. Nick is actually the one in the net lead of the race. The question is for how much longer. Sorry, what?
Insane, I said.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, something I never thought I would ever say. But here we are in this sort of crazy reality. However, I think it's short-lived, because here comes Dane to the inside of turn 1, and they're side by side. Nick is fighting this. He's not handing over the net lead of the race just like that. But Danestar, with the fast slap now under his belt as well, gets it round the outside of turn 2, takes second place away from Nick. And maybe my prediction is, at the end of the day, all wrong, and it will be Danestar who wins this race, as Kingen is now down in P10. And Rich, who was my other pick, and Eberhanen are in 7th and 4th, respectively. However, Eberhanen is still within a good shot here. Let's see. I want to check his penalties now. He has 1, so he's definitely more well-behaved than he was in Austria, where he was disqualified, as he sends it down the inside of Nick, but into the hairpin. It just wasn't there just yet. A little bit over eager there. And I think Nick... Oh no, I was about to say Nick has a DRS failure, but he does not. He just opened it very late. which just goes to show why I'm so surprised that Nick wasn't in the net lead of the race. He forgot to open the DRS for like, I don't know, 3 seconds, and ooh, Nick with the harsh defense there. I'm not sure if I can call this out, but you know, he might have me fired from my commentary position if I do. But
who cares? We're commentators. He's racing.
Yeah, true.
But we can't be toxic on any drivers. We can't.
No,
we're not allowed. Otherwise, if it wasn't for the commentators championship, you'll be marked down. So luckily you're not rated, Austin, in this race. So you can get away with it.
Here comes Evan. Here comes Evan around the outside, and Nick's still fighting this. Has to leave the space on the outside there, and Evan gets a slide on. And Nick, no, he doesn't like this. He wants to stay behind because he wants that DRS. Down the back straight. Now Evan going too deep. The DRS detection point was already way before the hairpin. But yeah, Nick should have the DRS and the slipstream and overtake and everything. Just throw the kitchen sink at it for good measure. And that should be Nick back up to P3. And the question now is Owen. Yeah, Owen comes. I was about to say, when does Owen come in? Well, the answer is right there. Now.
That could be interesting for him because he's going on to the soft compounded tyres, as obviously he has to go on the soft compounded tyres because otherwise you'll get disqualified for using the same tyre compounds. But he's going to come behind a lot of traffic. So obviously a lot of the other guys, apart from Lee Hoffner, of course, on the softs, it's going to be quite tricky for him. And if he doesn't get past them, his tyre temperatures are going to be through the roof. So this could still be B-Stas's championship win. Unless B-Stas bottles it, then that's his title chances, I think. Well, B-Stas's title chances probably staying alive at the moment. He's still going to win this, that's for sure. But fair play to Eva Hannon and Nick for giving us a battle just to show, really. And we've got B-Stas going in for this. Pretty much 3 one-hub legends going for an P2 in this race. This is nail biting stuff. Don't forget, B-Stas is returning to One Hub Racing in Season 16. This is kind of like a warm-up for him as well. Eva Hannon is a past champion as well. He's not close to him at the moment, but he's going to get him in this straight. He's running out of ERS. Nick's got more ERS, so he's got more to defend, which is helping him there. And I think Nick was using his overtake there, so Nick's staying in P2.
Yeah, and the one thing, I think the only thing at this point that can take the championship away from B-Stas is the Wall of Champions. I don't think there's any other chance that he can lose this. And basically himself. He can. The only one to beat B-Stas is B-Stas. And unless he does that, then he will come home with the championship. As we have yellow flying sector 2 and 3, and that is Indecisive Mac, who's going slowly there on the left side. This does not bother the front runners at all because a lapped car ghosts, and therefore they cannot have any sort of collision with Indecisive Mac whatsoever.
I only just realised what tyres B-Stas is on. He's on the hards.
Yep.
As well, so we pitted quite early as well. That is a brave move for him. Also, Indecisive Map on the hards, but he had damage or something earlier on, so we opted for a similar strategy. But there's going to be guys that are on the mediums that could be hunting him down pretty much, but he doesn't need to fight too much. If he stays where he is at the moment, the championship is his. As Owen gets another 3-second time penalty, and he sets the fastest lap, but he's still stuck on the back of his nearest championship rival, obviously Kingan as well, 3 tenths behind, as well as a lapped car of Indecisive goes for good measure. Yellow flag is set to 1. I think
that's still Indecisive.
Still Indecisive spinning, moving out of the way, of course. Owen trying to get the better exit here in just before the DRS straight, and there he goes. Owen up into 9th place of this race. The next opportunity he's going to get is for Rich, and obviously Rich is having a nice battle with Laser the Trig at the moment for 7th place. As the yellow flags are just letting the faster cars through, of course, as obviously they have to do that, otherwise you will get a time penalty, of course, as we only got 5 or 6 laps to go before the end of this event, and B-Stas is well on his way to win a £10 PSN card with a medal to his name, and he could be one of the favourites to possibly clinch any championship that you throw at him. You know, these guys have got to watch him. He is signed up for next season of season 16, you know. These guys are going to be thinking, hang on, this guy is quick.
At the same time, though, it's a lot less of a threat if you see it coming. And
exactly.
This event right here, honestly, if I was Beastars, I may have not entered it for competitive reasons, because now this is sort of, you know, this is very vital intelligence, basically, very vital intel that all the other drivers can get from Beastars. They know how quick he is. They can see his lap times around a couple of different tracks, and very, very different tracks to each other. I mean, you compare Spa to Brazil to Austria to Canada, very different tracks, and you see Beastars' pace around all of them, as even Hanano gets really close to Nick here, but he's not going for the move yet. Is he going to try it here into turn 1? I think he might. He's not close enough. Nick would actually be entitled to swipe across him there, because Ibehanen was not halfway alongside, so Nick could have actually denied him the apex there, decided to leave him some space, but Beastars is there, takes the position in the chicane of turn 3 and 4. And so Beastars now up to P3, which is a dangerous game in and of itself. You don't want to be involved in any battles if all you have to do is a finish in the top 10, or if, I think even top 11 would be enough for him.
I do believe Aaron's got damage. He's gone into the pits. I think he had damage with, I think, Kingen or something like that. I did see him lose a position to Kingen. He might have binned it somewhere. I'm not sure. It might have been him or Kingen. I'm not sure. But that, I think that's his championship chance is gone. I think at the moment, unless Beastat bins it, the only other person to stand him with a chance of winning if Beastat bins it is Rich, because he's in 7th, or maybe Kingen as well. So, you know, he's still going to finish in a high position anyway. Oh, Nick's hit the wall of champions again. Oh,
yeah,
that
here
is a
comes
shame.
Beastars up to P2, and Ibehanen tries to follow through as the inside again for turn 1, but it turns into the outside for turn 2. However, he makes the move stick, and Nick now drops down to P4, and he's under pressure now from Lee Hoffner as well. And with that damage, in fact, both end plates and a 3-second time penalty, both end plates missing here for Nick, and he has no, oh my goodness, no front downforce anymore, it seems. I think he lost more front wing. It's all unraveling for our admin owner, a co-owner, we should say. And yeah, he has no front wing downforce, no front downforce anymore. That wing is absolutely gone. Oh, Nick, what are you doing?
Oh, he had a chance for a win. He had a shot of a podium, and he's thrown that completely out the window. What a shame. And
yeah, what I'm gonna, I don't know if he's listening, but if he is, stay out.
Why?
It's only 2 more laps. You do not lose that much time. You lose a lot more time from getting your front wing changed. Then you lose, and he does come in. Okay. Right.
He's not watching the stream then.
Yeah. Or he didn't hear it, or he heard it too late, maybe.
The stream is delayed by like 20 seconds. That's probably why.
Exactly. But yeah, if you have front wing damage in like the last 2 or 3 laps, there's no point in pitting.
No.
There's absolutely 0 point. You do not lose that much time from not having much of a front wing as you lose from pitting and being in the pit lane and being slow and having the front wing changed and all that stuff. That loses you way more time. And Nick is now back out of the pit lane in P10. I think he would have, to be fair, he probably would have dropped down to P10 anyway. It's just that the gap would have been less. So now he can at least go for the fastest lap. So maybe it wasn't that bad after all. I'm going to take back what I said earlier.
Yeah, I think we've all got our predictions wrong in terms of the race anyway. So, you know, that's why I don't make predictions in races. But at the moment, we are about to see our first person to get 2 wins. Obviously, we had 3 different winners in this series, but we could see the first person to get 2 victories. That could be the sign that Danestar could climb up a little bit more in the championship. The only position we'll pretty much know who's got it is obviously the championship winner, because obviously Rich is down in 6th, Owen is down in 13th, and Kingen is down in 8th. So Beast's just got to beat all of these guys, and he's doing that at the moment. But we're seeing some more battles with Laser the Twig, Liam, and Rich. Liam actually doing a lot better than obviously last week. He's got involved in less incidents, and he's getting some good points out of him as well. So I think you'll be impressed as well. One of our sponsors, of course, and I wonder if he's still... Oh, his Laser the Twig has damaged one of his front wings anyway. He's lost a bit of his end plate. Eva Hannon getting a penalty, so that's going to drop him down a few places as well. We got another yellow flag set to 3, but let's ignore that for the time being, as we've got Danestar coming towards the final couple of corners. He doesn't need to sweat too much now. He knows he's won the race. Danestar wins the final race of the series of the Ukraine will make it, but this is not, the night is not all about him. Beastas comes across the line. He is your Ukraine You Make It winner. He wins the £10 PSN voucher and the medal for himself, the 1 Hour Racing medal. Congratulations, Beastas. You are the champion.
Yeah, what I would say. Eva Hannon finishes in 3rd, Lee Hoffner 4th, Rich in 5th. Let me quickly fill this all into my little spreadsheet here. King in 6th. We have Liam down to P7. He came across the line, I think, at P5, but due to penalties falls down to P7. Lazy in P8. Then we have Vitinho in P9, and Nick at least rounds out the top 10, with Dexter then being in P11. Jamie in P12, and unfortunately I didn't see the other two. So let me just quickly grab the stream.
Well, the management rivalry, last race Dexter beat Nick. This time, Nick beat Dexter. So there we go.
Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, so Owen in P13 and Indecisive Mac in P14. So that's 8 points here, and Indecisive Mac 7. Also, who got the fastest laps?
Well, we'll find out in a second, to be honest. Oh, I'm loving Danestar. I'm loving these suits, by the way. It's pretty good, but I think obviously Beastas is going to be the one celebrating tonight. Obviously, driver of the race. I've got to say, Eva Hannon drove really well in this race. Obviously, he obviously forgot about the troubles in the last race and absolutely killed it in this race. So fantastic job from him. He's going to get some solid points for him as well. And well done to Danestar and Beastas, only drivers out of the 17 now racing tonight who kept it clean. Fastest lap outside the top 10, we know, and for the whole race is Owen Wyatt. And who has got it inside?
Nick.
It's Nick. Haven't raced in league racing in quite some time in One Hub. Get the fastest lap of the final race. Both of them.
Yeah, and that makes for an interesting development. So the final standings, Beastas wins at 78 points out of a potential 84. So that's absolutely dominant. Only didn't get a couple fastest laps, and I think 2 second places where he didn't win. He only got second both times, and then didn't get fastest laps. Didn't get all the fastest laps, at least. Rich finishes second with 60 points. 3rd place goes to Danestar with 59. Apart from that one race, that second race around Brazil, where he did not finish, every other race, Danestar's been near the top as well. Owen in P4 with 57. Kingen in P5 with 56. So P2 to P5 are split by only 4 points. Then we have a larger gap of 8 points down to P6, Eva Hannon. And now the interesting part begins. So I don't even know how to split this up. I don't know who got the better results. But it is Dexter and Nick tied at 47 points.
I think it's down to who's got the better result, I think.
Yeah, but I don't have all the results at my disposal right now. I would have to look that up.
We'll find out on Twitter next week then.
Yeah. Then we have Westy in P9 at 46 points. And Vitinho and Lazy are tied as well at 45 points. Then it goes down Liam 1-3 at 35 points. Lee Hoffner 34. By the way, Lee Hoffner didn't participate last week. 2 fourth places this week. He only finished 13th in the championship, but after 2 races. Everyone in front had 3 or 4 that they finished. Certainly 4 that they participated in. So I gotta say, Lee Hoffner, if he had been here for all 4 races, he would have been up there.
Yeah, definitely showing very consistent, and I've got to say, Nick's done a bottle. I've got to say, he forgot to add the fastest laps for the last 2 races, well, the first 2 races last week. So, but that.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he didn't. He said in our chat he might not have added the fastest laps for the first 2 races on the standings. Tut, Nick. Anyway, that doesn't do any effect with the championship. So we can forgive him on that. You're forgiven with that, Nick. I've got to say. So yeah. Biggest improvement I've got to say, Liam as well, getting 2 7th places. That compared to his finishes last week, I've got to say, great job from him as well. And obviously Lee Hoffner as well. Westy with his great performance in Austria. Shame that he couldn't convert it, obviously, in Canada. But what could have been for him as well. And obviously, well done to obviously our 3 winners of the races. Obviously, Dane Star with 2 wins, B-Stas with 1 win, Owen with 1 win. So only 3 guys to get a victory. But for 2 out of the 3 people, they can still get a win in Season 16, as those 2 will be taking part in Season 16. Speaking of Season 16, that is what we'll be starting Season 16 next week with our famous qualifying night, which is going to be happening for the first time around Bahrain. Obviously, the first 2... well, the ones we had in F1 2019 were around Britain. We're changing up a little. It's around, obviously, the Sakir International Circuit. How important is this qualifying night session for all 80 drivers competing to see who's going to be in their competitive tier?
It's going to be absolutely crucial. You got to bring your A game, and you know, you gotta show what you're made of. I mean, everyone wants to make it into the pinnacle tier. Everyone wants to make it to the top, and the journey starts at qualifying night.
Yep, indeed. And obviously, we'll go through the rules pretty quickly as well for those of you that are new, because I know there's a few new drivers that are listening. So basically, all you are. Excuse me, my voice going again. It's only gone twice tonight. I'm happy with that. I wish it wouldn't have gone at all. But you get put in a 30-minute practice session, either at 6:15, 7 o'clock, 7:45, or 8:30. You should know your slot already because it's on the website, on the One Hub Racing Forum. And you'll get put into a 30-minute practice session. Your job is to set the fastest lap time possible around Bahrain on the softest tyre. If you set it on the mediums or the hards, then it won't count towards that time. And we can see who's sandbagging and who's not, because we can, due to the TAS system now, we can see who is sandbagging in terms of fuel, who's being sandbagging in terms of stuff like that. We can see that now, so no excuses. We get to see everyone's true pace in qualifying night. We may see some surprise, we'll have to wait and see, but all will be revealed next week. And then obviously, due to the fact that we'll have the TAS system now, we could actually input those data quite quickly, which means that the tier announcements are only a few days later on the Sunday. So it won't be that long before you find out which tier you're in. But my advice get a feel for the track on the medium tyres. But with about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go, get your soft runs in, because if you don't get it in until like the final 5 minutes, if you invalidate, then that's it. You're more than likely going to be put into a lower tier. So you gotta be careful. But there will be other factors as well if you do invalidate. Obviously, last season's results will come into effect, time trial as well. There's just other things taken into consideration as well as the evaluation races. Well, not the quali night, but quali night has more weighting than the two. I can't wait, and I know you can't wait, Austin.
Yeah, I really can't. I'm excited for it. I was part of the commentary team for last season's qualifying night, and it's just an electric atmosphere every single time because everyone knows what it's about. Everyone knows how much is at stake, and yeah, it's just that exciting.
Yeah, I took part in it last time in season 15 when it was my first race, and the atmosphere was brilliant. I mean, it was a lot of fun to do, but the pressure just gets to you towards the end. Like you are expected to set the quickest time possible, and if you bottle it, then that's it really. So that's another thing the driver's got to take into consideration as well. But if you're not racing this season in One Hub this season and want to find out more about the qualifying nights, you want to see the qualifying nights for yourself, do not worry. Every single session will be streamed on the One Hub Racing channel next week, starting with the earliest time of 6:15. Obviously, the commentators will be starting 5 minutes earlier than the slot. So the first stream will start at 6:10. Haven't decided who the commentators are yet. I'll have to sort that out for next week, but you'll find out before the end of next week anyway who the commentators are for that. But we're going to blabble on less. We're going to end the stream there because I know I'm going to give your evenings back. Thank you guys so much for watching this special event. It's been absolutely fantastic. No game issues for me tonight. Yay. And thank you to Austin for joining me in the commentary box for the 4 races that we had in session, and what 4 great races we've had. So thank you, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much for having me, honestly. Being part of an event like this is always fun, and yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much either, so I just leave it at that.
Yeah, we got stuff to do. We got stuff.
Yeah, what an event it was.
Yeah, we got stuff to do, but we're not going to tell you who. I know what I'm doing at the end of this, but shh. Anyway, we will see you next week for qualifying night. You'll see me in the tier announcements, but you'll most likely see Austin in one of the streams. Not sure which stream yet, but we'll see you next week for qualifying night. Have a good evening. Goodbye.